What's up guys, Andre here, and today I'd like to take a look at using Inertia with React. So in my last video we took a look at using Inertia with Laravel and Vue, and now I want to take a look at it using React. So we'll basically just convert what we did in Vue to React. So I have a branch set up here called React, and I've just branched off master, and we'll take it step by step and convert our Vue components to React components. So if you don't remember, we built this CRUD app that just does CRUD operations on users. So you can create and edit and delete users. And it's going to work exactly the same way in this React app that we're going to build. Okay, so let's go into here and install the React adapter. Let's do that. And it doesn't say in the docs, but you can actually see it here. You have to install React as well, and React DOM. So we'll do npm install React and React DOM. Okay. Now we can move on to the next step. And this is setting up a Laravel mix. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go into our editor. I'm going to use VS Code this time. So Webpack, and first let's set up, make sure to change .js to .react. I forgot to do that, and it took me a really long time to figure out what I was doing wrong. So just change it to React. I have .react there. Okay, and then change this Webpack part. Okay, so that will be here. Cool. Let's indent that. Okay. What's next? Okay, so I already did this part in the Vue installation. It's the same thing. And now we have to initialize React in our app.js file. So I'm going to grab this. And let's go into our app.js, so resources.js, app.js, remove that, add that, save that, and what's next? Okay, so we have to create this shared layout.js, and we did the same thing in Vue, so let's do the same thing in React. So I'm going to rename these to Vue, just so I can reference them, because we need the same folder name. So pages view and shared view. Okay, now let's make folders for shared and pages. Oh, did I do file? I meant folder. Shared and pages. And in shared, was it layout.js? Yep. Layout.js. Paste that in. Just change the spaces to 2. 2. And let's re-indent this. Will this work? Okay, cool. Actually, that didn't work. Let me just do this manually. Let's indent this. And that's fine. And now let's add a page. This one's welcome. So let's make one called pages welcome.js. So pages welcome.js. Set the spaces to 2. Okay, there you go. Save. And that should be it. Check out our routes file and just change this a second. So I'm going to comment this out for now. And I'm going to use this. And this is passing in some data, so some data called foo, which will be passing as props. So we can modify our welcome, accept some props here, and we can, did it go back to 4 spaces? It did. That's okay. Okay, so that doesn't want to work. Let's do this manually. And I just want to output this.props, or not this.props, just props.foo. And that should render bar. Okay, now I'm going to run my watcher, and hopefully this all works. Okay, and it does work. Let's hit this in our browser here, so it should be the root route. There we go. Actually, no, this is still the view one. Let me hard refresh. Okay, so it's not working. What's the problem here? Okay, so I have this error. I'm going to stop everything and run npm install again. Okay, now I'm going to run my watcher again, and hopefully this fixes it. Okay, let's hard refresh. And that one works now. Cool. So you can see the prop being passed in here, and you can see the other pages. Oh, there's no other pages, so we can actually create those. I think I have routes for those actually. So if I go back to my routes file, yeah, there's routes for about and contact. So we can create those. Let's do that quickly. We can just duplicate this. Okay, so I added those two pages here. And now if I refresh this, then these other routes should work now. Home, about, and contact. Cool. Okay, let's start recreating everything from Vue into React. So I'm going to go back into my routes and put it back as it was before. So we'll leave these. I just want to redirect home to users, and then we'll comment this out. And now let's add that folder for users. And start with index. Make an index.js, just like we did in Vue. New file, index.js. And let's take a look at what we have in Vue. Actually, let me grab something from here first. So we have the general layout. Put that in. And let's change this to index. And let me just make sure this renders. Save that. If you go here, this should redirect to /users, and our routes should be set up, so this should work. My watcher is not running. npm run watch. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so there is the index page. So let's see what we have in Vue. And let's try to recreate this in React. So we have our layout. And that's going to stay the same. Let's start with the layout actually. So we have our layout view. And what do we have for our layout? Layout.js. So we have a main that is the wrapping div, and we have the same here. So I can just grab everything here and space this up here. Let's try to change everything. So let's indent this. There should be 2 spaces. It keeps changing back to 4. It's kind of annoying changing it all the time. Okay. So nav is just a normal HTML component. Nav bar, so this is all fine. So this slot is, we have it down here, it says children. So let's change that. And we need these inertia links. It's almost the same as Vue. It's just a different case. So change that. It's the same thing. And we can erase this one now. I think the only thing we have to do is change class to class name. Class name. And this should be the bootstrap index now. Bootstrap header, I mean. Okay. And that works. It's just this renders out. I think I removed some classes there, did I? Yeah, so we need nav item and nav link. Let's just do this. I should put it after the href. Okay, just added that back, and this should look okay now. Okay, cool. Sorry, it should supposed to be class name. Still not used to that since I use view most of the time. Class name. Okay. Okay, now let's go work on the index. So it's this index view and index.js. So again, we have our layout. Now we have a class of container. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to grab all of this. And let's just wrap it in our layout. And let's fix it. Again, let me set the spaces. It keeps resetting. I am going to start with all the classes. Okay, should be class name. What else? Okay, so this success message is a prop. And this is obviously view. Let's change this to a conditional. So that would be, we're checking if props.success message exists. And if it does, we can do that and close that out here. And we can just render it out here. So props.success message. Cool. Okay, now this is correct. Let's reindent that. And for the class name, for the table, let's fix this first. Or let's remove this, and then we'll add that in, just so the syntax highlighting works. And let's move this. It should be name, and this should be email. And let me fix this. Just change the casing on it. Inertia link. And that closed it. Cool. I think we have to import this too. So import inertia link from inertia react. And let's change this to React syntax. Let's close that out. And let me just re-indent everything here. The table at least. Okay, let's see if this renders out, and then we'll fix the loop that should be here. Okay, so that doesn't work. User is not defined. That makes sense because this doesn't work yet. Let's just remove this. Okay, so that seems to render. Cool. Let me just indent this. And this should be indented as well. And it went back to 4, of course. Okay, you know what? I don't care about the indentation. I should definitely have a prettier setup or ESLint where it does it automatically, but I don't have it set up right now. So I'm going to put this back. You know what? I'm going to quickly say it really rubs me the wrong way when the space is incorrect. Okay, so the thing we're iterating over is the TR. So we have to do a map over that. So let's do that. Props.users.map. So that's what we're iterating over. And for each user, we want to do that. And then paste that in. There's an extra closing brace. And see if that fixes it. Sorry, forgot this one. Okay, Cool. And we can put the name and the email back. So this user.name and user.email. Okay, so that should work now. We can move on to the create page, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to make a new page called create.js. And again, let's just copy what we have in here. And here, change this to create. Okay. And see if it goes to that page. Cool. Okay, let's see what we have in view. Create.view. And there's actual state and logic in here, but I want to take care of the layout first. So I'm going to grab everything in here. And let's just convert it to a React or JSX. Let's put in here. Again, I'm going to set the spaces to 2, but I know that's going to reset on me. Okay. So let's just indent this. And again, let's start with this conditional here. And this is the conditional here. Obviously, there's no if, and let's set it up here. Let's close it. And then let's do that. And this should be just 1, and it should be props.errors. Okay. So this has to be a function, and let's just put it on there. Let's put it in there right now. Let's call it on submit equals, we'll call it create user as well. Create user. And obviously there's no V model in React. So let's remove this. Let's remove all the V models for now. And I think React complains if there's no closing, if there's no self-closing. Okay, so that fixes that error. And I think this should work if this doesn't give me an error, because I didn't find that yet. Let's see if it renders. Okay, it says errors is not defined. Sorry, there should be props.errors. Props.errors, and this one should be 2. And create user is not defined. So let's just add that later. And it's complaining about for and class. Yeah, that's, again, class should be class name. So let's just grab all those. Class name. And for should be HTML4 in React. Oh, I can't do that. Let's do this. Okay, HTML4. Okay, so no more warnings, and it renders out correctly. Now let's start adding everything back in. Let's add the submit handler first, or again, because we just had it. Create user. And up here, we can define it before the return. So you can have a function within the function. Again, my indentation is off. So annoying. Okay. So const create user. equals, and we want the event. It's an arrow function, and event.prevent default. And that should be fine for now. And for the V models we had, we can change it to something like this. You know what? I'll do that later. Let me just set up the state, and we're going to use React hooks here. So we have to import useState from React, and here's where we can define some state. And I have 3 pieces of state here. I have name, email, and password. So name, set name equals use state, and the initial state is empty. And we do the same thing for email and password. So let me just change these. Email, set email. And now where we have vModel, we can update that accordingly. So it behaves in a similar way. So I'm just going to listen for the on change event. And when that happens, I am going to run an arrow function, which takes in the event. And then we want to update the state. So we have one for each piece of state. So I'm just going to do set name here for this one. It's going to be e.target.value. And let's change the ones for here. So this one is set email. Yep, email. And the other one is set password. Okay. So I think the only thing I have to do is make the AJAX request. Let me just see if this works. Refresh. And it's going to check if the state I defined works. And create. And see if I update it. Okay, there it is. Cool. So that works. And the only thing we have to do now is update this create user. And it's the same thing we did in Vue, except we're using the React component. So let's use the inertia.post method, and we can do that. So inertia.post. I think I have to. Okay, it's already imported here. So inertia.post /users, and then we want to pass in. Oh my God, these spaces are killing me. Name. We can just do name, email, password. Again, I already have this set up in the backend. I did in the last video, and that doesn't change at all. So take a look at that one if you haven't seen it yet. Then we actually don't have to do anything in here. I'll just set it up anyways. Okay, so with any luck, this should now work. And the redirects and the error messages should work because I have that set up as well on the index page. So new@new.com, password. Actually, let me check the errors first. So I'm going to put the password to something less than 5, I think was the validation rule. Okay. This is a different validation rule. I guess I already have an email, but at least we know that works. Otherperson@another.com to see if the validation error changes. Okay, cool. I'm going to change this. And there we go. It redirects to the index page. And that new person we added, this one, is added. Cool. Okay, so I went ahead and added edit.js in. It's pretty much the same as create. And I don't want to waste any more of your time. I also added the spinner, and in Vue I use something called Epic Spinners, and there's actually a React version as well. Again, it's the same thing, just in React. So there should be a spinner on editing. So let's see if this works. So let's edit Emily. And password doesn't work. I just ignored password. Let's check if the validation works. It does. Person. And if you press this, you should see the spinner quickly. There it is. And updating works as well. And there you go. Cool. And I believe delete is in there as well. Should work. Delete. Yeah, it should be a function here. And this should work as well with the confirm message. So let's delete this person. Okay. And they are gone. Cool. So there you have it, guys. We managed to use React within Inertia and converted what we did last time in Vue into React. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.